His wife said, "I'm done pretending I love you." He nodded, then showed her the footage. The evening began like most of their evenings did, quiet, efficient, and loveless. The rain had been falling since noon, thin and steady, washing the streets in dull silver. Inside the Reed apartment, the lamps were dim, the air still heavy with the faint scent of burnt toast and espresso. Ethan sat by the dining table, working on his laptop. Behind him, Maya stood at the window, watching the rain slide down the glass like tears that had given up. For weeks, something had been unraveling between them. Not with words, but with silence, the kind that erodes slowly, invisibly, until one day there's nothing left to erode. When she finally spoke, her voice was calm, too calm. "I'm done pretending I love you." He didn't look up. His fingers hovered above the keyboard for a moment, then froze. "I mean it, Ethan," she said, quieter this time. He closed the laptop gently. No shock, no anger. Just a stillness that made the air heavier. Then he nodded once, like someone who'd already heard this line in his head 100 times. "All right," he said softly. Her breath caught, not because she wanted him to fight, but because she didn't expect him to surrender so easily. She wanted chaos. Instead, she got composure. He stood, walked to the cabinet, and took out a small black USB drive. It glinted briefly under the lamp. "I figured we'd get here eventually," he said, voice even. "But before you go, you should see something." Her brow furrowed. "What is that?" "Footage," he said simply. He plugged it into the TV. The screen flickered to life, showing grainy black and white footage of their living room, this living room, from a slightly high angle, like a quiet observer. The timestamp at the corner read 3 weeks ago. Maya's pulse quickened. "What is this?" "Security camera," he said. "Hidden. I installed it after the first time you lied about where you were." She took a step back. "You filmed me." He didn't answer. On the screen, the footage played, Maya sitting on the couch, smiling faintly as she typed on her phone. Then the door opened. A man walked in. Not Ethan. She froze. The man leaned down, kissed her cheek. They talked softly, their laughter barely audible over the faint hum of the television. Ethan turned from the screen to look at her. "Do you want me to stop it?" Her lips parted, but no words came. The sound of laughter from the video filled the silence between them. It wasn't loud. It was worse, familiar. Finally, she whispered, "Ethan, this isn't." He stopped the video. "You're right," he said quietly. "It's not love. Not anymore." He removed the USB, placed it on the table, and walked toward the door. She followed. "Wait." He stopped but didn't turn. "You said you're done pretending. I'm just making it easier for you not to." The door closed behind him, the sound soft, but final. The next morning, Maya woke to the emptiest silence she'd ever known. The kind that didn't wait for footsteps. His side of the bed was cold. The closet, half empty. The drawer, cleared. He hadn't taken everything. Just enough to say he wasn't coming back soon. Outside, the rain had stopped, leaving behind that sharp metallic scent the world carries after a storm, renewal for some, aftermath for others. She made coffee. Poured 2 cups out of habit. Then stood there, staring at the untouched second cup until the steam disappeared. Ethan, meanwhile, drove aimlessly across the city. The sun was out, but the world looked gray. He ended up at a small coastal park they used to visit in better times, when weekends meant walks, not arguments. He sat on a bench overlooking the water. The waves moved like memory, constant, indifferent. He remembered her laugh back then, before the bitterness, before the distance. Before she learned how to smile while hiding something behind it. He wasn't angry. Not really. Anger was sharp and temporary. What he felt now was something colder, more permanent. Betrayal, he'd learned, doesn't scream. It whispers. He checked his phone once, a single missed call from her. Then he turned it off. Back at the apartment, Maya replayed the footage. Not all of it, she couldn't bear to, but enough to know he'd seen everything he needed to. The man in the video, Ryan, was someone from work, her business partner, a confidant who had turned into something blurred and unspoken. Nothing physical beyond that kiss, but it was enough. Enough to shatter the illusion she'd worked so hard to maintain. She had convinced herself she wasn't really cheating, that it was harmless, that she just needed someone who still looked at her like she mattered. But watching herself through the camera, seeing her own smile from a stranger's eyes, she realized how different it looked when truth stripped the justifications away. The woman on screen wasn't lonely or misunderstood. She was deceitful. And for the first time, she saw it. Her mother called that afternoon. "Maya, I heard Ethan left." "What happened?" Maya's throat tightened. "He found out." "Found out what?" "That I wasn't faithful." The line went silent. Then her mother's voice, low and cold. "Maya, what have you done?" She pressed a hand to her forehead. "I thought I was unhappy. I thought I deserved more. But now—" Her mother cut her off. "Don't make it poetic. You lied to a man who trusted you. That's not unhappiness. That's cruelty." Maya closed her eyes, tears pressing against her lids. "He filmed me, Mom. He showed me." "He didn't film you," her mother said sharply. "He caught you. That's different." The call ended with silence. The kind that doesn't need words to echo guilt. That night, Maya went through their old videos. Vacations, birthdays, the ordinary days that once felt eternal. In one, Ethan was holding the camera. "Smile," he said, laughing. She turned to him, eyes bright. "Stop filming me." He chuckled. "Never." She paused the video there, on that frame where her smile was real. Not performative. Not forced. Just real. And she whispered to the frozen image, "You should have stopped filming, Ethan. You might have saved yourself sooner." Across the city, Ethan stayed in a hotel. He spent his nights staring at the ceiling, listening to the low hum of traffic. He'd already told his manager he'd be working remotely for a while. When Daniel called, Ethan answered on the third ring. "You good?" Daniel asked carefully. Ethan gave a small, humorless laugh. "Define good." "I heard," Daniel said. "About the footage." Ethan said nothing. "Man," Daniel continued, "you didn't have to do that. You could have confronted her without proof." "I needed to see it," Ethan replied quietly. "I needed to know I wasn't crazy." "Now you know," Daniel said. "Feel better." Ethan stared at the wall for a long moment. "No. Just emptier." A week passed. Then another. Maya sent messages, short ones, pleading ones, long ones. None answered. Finally, she went to his office. The receptionist recognized her but hesitated. "I'm sorry, Mrs. Reed. He's not in today." "Do you know when he'll be back?" The woman glanced down. "He's working remotely now." Maya nodded slowly, thanked her, and left. Outside, the wind had picked up. The sky was heavy with the threat of another storm. She walked to her car, opened the door, then closed it again. Instead, she sat on the curb, letting the first raindrops fall against her face. She told herself this was punishment. But deep down, she knew it wasn't nearly enough. That evening, a message arrived on her phone. "Meet me tomorrow. Same place we used to get coffee. Noon. E." Her hands trembled as she typed back. "I'll be there." The cafe was small, tucked between a bookstore and a florist, their old Sunday ritual. She arrived early, ordered black coffee, and sat by the window. Every tick of the clock echoed like a countdown. When Ethan arrived, she stood, heart thudding painfully. He looked the same, but colder, the kind of calm that comes after a decision has already been made. "Thank you for coming," she said. He nodded, sitting across from her. "I didn't come to talk about what you did." Her voice wavered. "Then why?" He slid an envelope across the table. "These are the papers." She froze. "Divorce." He nodded once. She reached for it but didn't open it. "You've already signed?" "Yes." Her throat tightened. "You're not even angry, are you?" He looked out the window. "No. Anger means I still expect something from you." The clock on the wall ticked once, twice, then again. She whispered, "You're really done." He met her eyes, steady, unreadable. "You were done first." He stood, left money on the table, and walked out. She sat there long after he left, the envelope untouched, her coffee cold. Outside, the rain started again, as if the sky had decided to finish what her words had begun. That night, she opened the envelope. Inside was a neatly typed petition, and signed by her, already approved by him. There was also a smaller envelope within, handwritten. She opened it slowly, fingers trembling. "I didn't want revenge, Maya. I wanted truth. And now I have it. The footage wasn't for you, it was for me, so I could stop wondering what went wrong. So I could see it clearly, without excuses. You told me you were done pretending. I believe you. I hope one day you find a life you don't have to fake. Goodbye." Her tears fell onto the page, blurring the ink. She whispered into the emptiness, "You filmed the end of us." But the truth was crueler. He had filmed the moment he stopped loving her, and neither of them had realized it until now. The days after the cafe meeting moved slowly, like a film reel dragging against rusted gears. Maya lived in a house that no longer felt like home, walking from room to room as though searching for the woman she used to be. The divorce papers lay on the dining table, untouched, casting a long shadow across the hardwood floor each afternoon when the sun dipped low. She didn't sign them. Not because she doubted what she had done, but because signing them felt like confirming something irreversible. And she wasn't ready to face that yet. Each night she told herself, "He'll call. He has to." But he didn't. Not once. Ethan rented a small apartment near the coast, a quiet place with white curtains and empty shelves. The kind of apartment that echoed with every small movement. He worked. He slept. He ran along the water at dusk, letting the cold air scrape the thoughts from his mind. Yet every night, something pulled him back to the memory of her voice. "I'm done pretending I love you." He remembered the way she said it, not trembling, not unsure. Too calm. He'd learned over the years that people don't tell the truth in anger. They tell the truth in silence. And she had delivered it like a final confession. So he accepted it. Not with rage. With resignation. There's a particular sadness that comes from understanding something you wish you didn't understand. 3 weeks after the cafe, Maya received a letter from his lawyer. Not cruel. Just final. "If the papers aren't signed within 14 days, the court will proceed without your response." She stared at the date. 14 days. 2 weeks to dismantle a decade. Her parents visited the next evening. Her father walked through the house quietly, noticing the untouched rooms, the untouched food, the untouched life. When he found her in the living room, he sat beside her. "You're losing weight," he said. She shrugged. "Food tastes like cardboard now." Her mother sat on her other side. "Sweetheart, you have to accept it. Ethan won't come back." Her throat tightened. "He didn't even ask me why. Not once." Her father shook his head. "Because he didn't need to. You showed him." She looked down at her hands, smaller now, almost fragile. "I was wrong," she whispered. "So wrong. I thought I was trapped. I thought I needed something else. Someone else. But it wasn't love I wanted. It was validation. I used him. I lied to him. I broke the one thing he asked me never to break." Her mother exhaled softly. "Then all that's left is to learn from it. Not undo it." The words stung because they were true. Some mistakes don't get rewritten, they get carved. Meanwhile, Ethan began organizing the rest of his belongings. He drove to the storage unit where he kept their old boxes, wedding albums, photo frames, souvenirs from trips. He opened one box, expecting a wave of nostalgia. Instead, he felt nothing. Not anger. Not longing. Just a quiet acknowledgement of something that once mattered and now didn't. When he closed the box again, loneliness didn't hit him. Finality did. 2 days before the deadline, Maya finally signed the papers. She placed them in the envelope, sealed it, stepped outside, and walked to the mailbox. The evening air smelled of rain, the same metallic smell that filled the apartment the night she ended their marriage with 13 careless words. Her hand hovered over the mailbox slot. Just drop it, she told herself. End it. But her fingers wouldn't let go. The envelope trembled. She whispered into the empty street, "Please come back. Just once. Please." But Ethan wasn't there. He wasn't coming. After a full minute, she inhaled shakily and dropped the envelope. The small thud inside the box sounded like a coffin lid closing. 3 months passed. The divorce was finalized quietly, with no dramatic fight, no courtroom scene. Just signatures in ink, the law acknowledging what their hearts already knew. Maya moved to a smaller apartment closer to her office, or what remained of her position after the scandal. Professional trust, once cracked, splinters fast. Clients left. Projects dried up. Her role was gradually reduced. And she accepted each blow without protest. Guilt has a way of softening a person until they no longer resist the consequences. One evening, as she was leaving work, she bumped into someone she hadn't seen since the footage incident. Her former business partner, Ryan. He approached with a confident smile. "Maya." Her stomach dropped. "Ryan, what are you doing here?" "Just wanted to talk," he said. "It's been a while." She stepped back. "We don't need to talk." He chuckled lightly. "You don't have to pretend you hate me. We had something." "No," she said firmly. "We had secrets. That's not something." He raised his eyebrows. "You think Ethan would have stayed even if we never talked? Come on. You weren't happy, Maya. I just made it clearer." Her chest tightened. "You made nothing clear. I destroyed my marriage. You helped me do it. That's the truth." He scoffed. "You're blaming me now?" "Not blaming," she said softly. "Just recognizing the part one played. And the part you played." He tried to step closer. "If you ever want—" She stopped him with a look. "No. I won't repeat the same mistake twice." She turned and walked away, her heels clicking against the pavement like a rigid heartbeat. Behind her, Ryan called her name. She didn't turn back. Across the city, Ethan's life settled into quiet normalcy. Work, jogging, books, evenings spent listening to the ocean. He didn't date. He didn't go out much. He didn't try to fill the void. Some losses don't require replacement. They require acceptance. His brother visited often, trying gently to pull him out of solitude. But Ethan remained steady, almost serene. Pain doesn't disappear. It transforms. And his had transformed into a quiet kind of peace. The true tragedy arrived on a cold November night. Maya received a call from Ethan's number. Her heart lurched. She answered instantly. "Ethan." But the voice wasn't his. It was Daniel's. "Maya, you need to come. Now." The world tilted. What happened? "It's Ethan." He collapsed. Everything inside her went still. "Where?" "The hospital." "Hurry." She didn't remember the drive. Only the cold air slicing into her lungs as she ran through the sliding doors of the ER. She found Daniel pacing the hallway, pale, trembling. "What happened?" she whispered. He swallowed hard. "Cardiac arrest." Her breath stopped. "But he's young, he's healthy." Daniel shook his head. "They said extreme stress. Months of it. It damaged his heart." Her knees buckled. She grabbed the wall. The nurse approached them. Her face told the story before her words did. "I'm sorry. He didn't make it." Something inside Maya broke quietly, not with a scream, not with theatrics. Just a small, internal shattering. The kind that ends people. Not suddenly. Slowly. They allowed her to see him. He lay there, eyes closed, looking strangely peaceful, as though sleep had finally softened the edges of his pain. His hair was slightly tousled, his skin pale beneath the hospital lights. She sat beside him, touched his hand gently. It was already cold. She whispered, voice trembling, "I wasn't done loving you." The room didn't answer. Death rarely does. She rested her forehead against his arm, tears spilling silently. "You were the one good thing in my life," she whispered. "And I destroyed you." Her voice cracked as she added, "I hope you never watched that footage again. I hope you deleted it. I hope you didn't carry the worst version of me in your heart when you died." But she knew he had. Because betrayal doesn't fade, it stains. At the funeral, her presence drew whispers. Some said she shouldn't have come. Others said it was brave that she did. She didn't hear any of it. Her eyes stayed on the casket, dark wood, quiet dignity, the last home he would ever have. When they lowered it, the sound of earth hitting the coffin was too much. She stepped back, covering her mouth, tears falling uncontrollably. Daniel stood beside her. "He loved you," he said quietly. She nodded, sobbing. "And I killed that love." Daniel didn't argue. Some truths don't need correction. In the months that followed, Maya visited his grave every week. She brought lilies, his favorite, and sat in the grass, telling him about the small things. The projects she was learning to do alone. The books she read to fill the silence. The mistakes she would never repeat. She apologized every time. Not to fix anything. Not to earn forgiveness. But because guilt, once rooted, grows like ivy. Her final words to him each visit were always the same. "I hope the next life gives you someone better than I ever was." Then she'd walk back to her car slowly, as though time might grant her a do-over if she didn't leave too quickly. It never did. In the end, there was no dramatic redemption. No reunion. No second chance. Just a woman who realized the worth of what she had only after it was gone. And a man who carried the ache of betrayal quietly until his heart couldn't carry it anymore. Their story didn't end with anger. It ended with silence. The deepest, saddest silence of all. The kind that follows love that died too early. And truth that arrived too late.